is optimizing performance with physical therapy. Michaela, physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy. So that is this coming Saturday, May 2nd at 10 a.m. And I'm sure that people are wondering, and the reason why we're doing this is people are probably wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, are we going to just be sitting and watching slides? Like, it's almost like whenever you're like at work and they call you in for a meeting and you're just like, "Hey, just next time, just email it.
Yeah.
Just email it to me." Like, we didn't have to meet to do this. So let's go ahead and just talk about let's lay the foundation. What is it?
So it's optimizing performance with physical therapy. So like, what does that mean? We're going to be going over biomechanics and science of 3 barbell movements. So we're going to look at the barbell back squat, the overhead strict press, and then the front rack split squat.
Perfect. The one that everyone loves.
The famous one. With those, we will be going through and we're going to identify weak links with those movements. And then we're going to discuss tools and how to like fix them and how you can be working on fixing those problems that you might identify.
Perfect.
You're going to be moving, so we need to dress comfortably.
Yes.
And you're going to leave there with some information to take home and work through with your limitations. And then you're going to have a plan of what to do next.
Perfect. So laying that foundation of what it is, and I do love that that they are going to be moving. So, and we're addressing 3 movements that are staples in this phase of programming. That's what this is for. So, we've identified what it is. Let's talk about what it's not. Yeah. So, what is it not?
For the most part, it is not a sit and listen seminar.
Okay.
You will be sitting and listening some.
You got to do it. So just chill for a second.
There is information that you've probably never heard of and never thought of before. Because typically when we come into the gym, we're just going to do the movements and go on. But there's a lot of information of like how the body works. That is super important. So you're going to have to listen just a little bit.
Yes. I will say that I feel like our base that we have here, our member base, they do appreciate the why. They want to know why. And I do think that we do a good job of explaining the whys. And this is like a deep dive into some of these things, like going over the biomechanics and science. That is really, really, really hard to get into in the middle of a class. And like someone may just come up to you after class and ask you something, and you can kind of dive into it, but it's hard to. So that's where we need this dedicated like day of like, this is what this is. And then like just the more, and our members know this because they appreciate it, just the more you know about something is the easier is to like know how to like self-assess and then apply. You really like understand it, or you can then come to you and say, hey, this and this, like I learned this and this, you told me that. And so you're like almost speaking the same language and you're like, cool, like, yeah, let's check this thing out.
Yeah.
So what else is it not?
So it's not a full therapist evaluation or assessment. So we'll be using some of the tools that I would use in an assessment or evaluation, but it's not the whole picture.
Right.
But you're getting a glimpse of that. And then it's also not a full treatment session. I'm going to give you some like quick fixes or primers or something you can be working on if you're in build day and like your lift just doesn't feel quite right. Like try these little tweaks and try this, stretch or movement. But it's not the full picture. It's not all of the hands-on modalities and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so it's similar to like how we would talk about like one-on-one personal training for a group. Like we will give you everything we can in that group. Like we will give you everything that we can. If I have 1 hour with only you, I can really, really go deep into like the problem that you're trying to solve. In group, I will do everything I can to help you solve that problem. But if you give me an hour, like we are going to be fully focused on just you and that thing. So, and then the eval alone is like a whole nother thing that it just takes more time and more deep diving. It's going to
Yes.
be hard to do. It would be hard to do something like that with 20 people
Right.
at
Even
one
just in
time.
a typical evaluation, like I'm trying to hurry to like get through
Get it
everything
all
in an
in.
hour
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
one person. So.
Exactly. Cool. So whenever they get here, and so we've had seminars and things. So if someone is listening and they've come, so they'll kind of know like what it's going to feel like when they come in. But for someone that's never been, what can they expect whenever they come in and throughout the day?
So, like when you first come in, the staff is here, and there's like coffee, and there's places to sit around the TVs,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where we'll start. We'll group there for the first few minutes. We'll go over some like background information, why this is important, what you need to know to be prepared for all of the information that I'm going to be throwing at you. And then from there, we'll get into it. So we'll go over the biomechanics. We'll have live demonstrations. So that way, when I'm talking, you're able to see not just like on screen what's happening, but a person. And like
Yes.
you can move around. You can see, whatever you need to grasp what I'm talking about. We'll and do it. I will be pointing out common limitations, restrictions, and imbalances, and I'll have the person, show some of those. And then we'll be going over screens. And then I'll talk about the screens, show you how to do them, and give you the information. And then we're going to break up into small groups. And then in your small group, you're going to work through it.
Mhm.
But then there's going to be trainers walking around, and I'll be walking around, and we'll have all the resources there that you need to like ask questions or get clarification. So that way you're doing them appropriately and getting accurate information from the screens.
Mhm.
And then we'll reconvene and we'll get back and talk a little bit more. And then I'll demonstrate some of the fixes, and we'll do that for all three movements.
Perfect.
And then from there, we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to talk about different pathways that you can take if these fixes don't really show you the improvements that you want.
Mhm.
And we'll talk whether like personal training is the best option for you or a full physical therapy evaluation would be appropriate. And then we'll tie it up and end with some general recovery strategies and just things to help get you set up to progress throughout the rest of the phase. And then at the very end, we're going to take some time, and then you'll practice the fixes, and we'll get barbells out, and we can go through the movements and do all the fun things
Perfect.
that we've talked about.
Perfect. So from start to finish, we are going to get some education up front, and then we'll break out into groups and go through these screens. Screens, for someone that doesn't know like what a screen is, it's
It's just like a quick little test.
Mhm.
It's one piece of the puzzle.
trying to get information
Mhm.
about their specific body. So they'll go through that. Then we'll demonstrate some of the fixes. We'll give a little bit more information, and then we're going to give time to actually do the thing. Really, really cool. So I guess to end this, the next question that someone may have is, how is what we're going to do this Saturday different than like our barbell workshops that we do?
Mhm. So basically, those go hand in hand. Um, the barbell workshop, is all about refining your form,
Mhm.
improving your sequencing and timing with those lifts, gaining confidence with those movements, and setting you up so you can improve your weight progression and lift heavier and keep
Mhm.
getting stronger. The seminar is identifying the parts of the body that is involved in those lifts, and then identifying your restrictions and limitations, and then giving you the tools to implement so that you can optimize the barbell workshop.
Perfect.